This special edition of Inside the Chamber is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor BG Advisors CPA, certified public accountants and business advisors.
Welcome back to Inside the Chamber. I'm here with 4 Under 40 award recipient Matt Denton. Matt, I want to hear a little bit more about you and really who you look up to for mentorship and inspiration.
Sure, that's a great question. I think aside from my parents, I've always looked up to them throughout my entire life. But I think as I look at my career, I've been very fortunate enough throughout my career to work with several of my colleagues at Sikich that have really been fantastic mentors to me. I think it would be a disservice to name anyone in particular. Hopefully they all know who they are. And I do know that I would not be where I am today without them. Not only have they turned into fantastic mentors, but they're also dear friends and those that I hope to stay very close with for many, many years to come.
And what makes them good leaders? What are the attributes of good leaders?
Sure. I think, several attributes as you think of effective leaders over time have kind of stood the test of time. I think in today's day and age, 2 of the most important attributes that I think are critical for important to leaders are influence and gratitude. I think influence, being able and having the ability to influence a group of people and working towards a common goal and driving positive results is critically important, especially in this virtual world that we find ourselves in today. Not necessarily collaborating as much as we were in person compared to several years ago. So having that ability to do that and foster that collaborative environment is critically important. And then gratitude. I think gratitude is another very important attribute for effective leaders today. I think being able to not only influence, but then express gratitude to those that you are leading, I think is critically important. I think it enhances employee engagement. I think it improves retention. And with the way the world is today, turnover is obviously a very large issue across many, many industries. So expressing gratitude and respect for those that you work with, I think is really beneficial.
So what is one thing that you are most proud of?
I think when I think back on my career, there's many milestones that I think I could maybe say I'm most proud of. Being named one of the youngest partners ever at the firm, which I'm very proud of. And more recently, taking over the Chicagoland Market Expansion Leader role within my firm. I'm very excited about that. But I think the thing that I am most proud of is my family. My wife and I are celebrating our 1-year anniversary here coming up in a week and are very excited to see what the future has in store for us in the next chapter of our life.
Speaking of chapters, I'm looking for book recommendations. What's a book you recommend?
Yes, I think Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. I think he does a wonderful job at pulling on community involvement and harnessing your network and your colleagues and family and really pulling through and harnessing how to navigate those relationships and form long-lasting relationships that are mutually beneficial.
And talking about relationships, what is your kind of tips and tricks to people who are coming into the business world? How do they start, create, and maintain relationships?
I think at a young age, especially now, many people that are entering the workforce, at least in public accounting, where I spend most of my time, it's very hard to get out and meet with people in person. I think as a young professional, I think it's critically important to get involved at a very young age. I think you should reach out to superiors and your coworkers and peers and really try and form kind of a young professionals group. I think there are plenty of opportunities to get more involved in the community that you work in, even if it's non-work related. The Chamber is a great outlet to do that. But I would just encourage people to get involved as early on as they can and be a sponge. Ask 100 questions, really try to soak it all in. It is true. There is no such thing as a dumb question. So really encourage those that are starting their career to step outside their comfort zone. We have all been there, and it does get easier.
So stepping outside your comfort zone, can you tell me about a time you took a risk?
Being an accountant, I am sure it is no surprise that I am fairly risk averse. I think if I were to choose a risk in my life, would maybe be starting my career outside of a Big Four firm in public accounting. I think as you grow up in public accounting, you're always kind of forced into starting a career in Big Four. And at the time, I was fortunate enough, I had several internships at Sikich and really grew to love the people. I fell in love with the vision, and I really believed in the people that I had been fortunate enough to work with. And so I'd started my career at Sikich 10 years ago and never looked back. I am still there. It is the only place I've ever worked. It is the only place I foresee myself ever working, and I'm having the most fun I've ever had. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing all of that with us, and we look forward to celebrating you coming up at our awards ceremony.
Thank you, Kaylin.